Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, of the Red Millstone, Christian word, truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, Christian word, truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, Christian word, truthfully and sincerely. I say Shalom to you Akim out there. And this is in the news for July the 29th, 2022 at 12:54 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Friday noon. And this is another update in regards to wars and rumors of wars. And second war was passed. We go third war coming quick. And the nation shall rise against nation is increasingly now more than ever in the last days. And this is a news article from RT.com. And this was published on July the 29th, 2022, from Alternative News, World News Around the World. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads from RT.com for In the News on this July the 29th, on this Friday noon. South Korea holds war games near disputed islands, media reports. And this comes along with the recent tensions between China and the United States defending Taipei. And then you got tensions in the island with the United States made a statement a couple of weeks ago that they was going to defend the Philippines, possible during the island dispute, because I believe China broke some type of rule for the island over the island dispute. So yeah, you got a lot of tensions going on in the island dispute, because you got Beijing stationed down there, Japan, China, Taipei, close near the islands right there, and the United States as well too. Is an ally, unofficial ally with Taipei. You got current tensions of that as well too, Now you got this right here of South Korea holding drills, war game drills near the disputed islands. The media reports. It says the move comes amending diplomatic tensions with Japan over ownership of the Daku or Takeshima Islands. And it says South Korea has conducted military drills near islands at the center of the territory dispute with Japan. The news agency's Yahoo report on Friday, citing sources with knowledge of the matter. The drills came after Japan reiterated its claims to the Daku Islands, which it calls a Takeshima, and its annual defense policy paper released early this month. Seoul has protested Tokyo's renewed attempts to claim ownership of the islands, has stated that shows moves do not help efforts to build future-oriented. It says relation between the two nations. The government strongly protests against Japan's pretension of its sovereignty claim over Dokado, if I pronounce that right. It says clearly integral parts of the Korean territory in the terms of history, geographic, and international laws, and urge immediately scrap it. South Korean Foreign Minister spokesperson Chai Young-shin, if I pronounce that right, and said in a statement last week, known as the Lancourt Rocks, internationally Dokudo in South Korea, and Takeshima in Japan. The islands are located in the western part of the Sea of Japan, or East Sea, as referred to by the countries. Japan initially controlled the islands from 1910 to 1945. During its colonial region over Korea. However, after World War II, they fell back under the de facto control of South Korea, which to this day has small police force stationed there. Sources tell that the Friday's drills were aimed to ensure the country's military readiness to fend off potential foreign incursions on the rocky outcrops of Duko is our territory, and these drills are part of regular ones that we'll conduct every year. One official was quoted and saying, on the condition of anonymity, South Korea has been holding military drills near the island since 1986 and has conducted them twice annually in 2003. The first drill of the year is usually in June, although this year it was apparently pushed back at the U.S., South Korea, and Japan seeking to deepen their security ties, amending rising tensions with North Korea. According to the UN, in June, the three states agreed to resume joint military exercises, which were held in late 2017. Earlier this month, the United States and South Korea carried out their first joint exercise involving the fifth-generation stealth jet fighters. The exercise took place after Seoul accused Pyongyang of conducting test missile launches, breaking a self-imposed 2018 moratorium in June. South Korea authorities warned that it would react promptly, sternly against any provocations coming from the north. So yeah, the islands, disputes, proxy wars, verbal wars, economic wars, you name it. It's increasing over there over the islands. And so, let's see. Matter of fact, let's bring out Mark 13:7 and close out the little sit down lesson for today. This is the book of Mark, chapter 30. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Be ye not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end is not yet. As a matter of fact, bring out one more scripture as well too. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Right, because like I've been mentioning previously back in my videos, going to this subject and matter of the increase of wars and rumors of wars, the nations rise against nations and kingdom against kingdoms of different kingdoms, increasingly on an economic standpoint, verbally standpoint, and to a potential physical standpoint very soon. And we've been seeing the wars and rumors of wars increasing. These nations have proxy wars between one another as being adversaries. You might have these nations have disputes over islands, disputes on many different certain subjects. If it's a verbal standpoint, an economical standpoint, an island dispute, and many other things. Proxy wars increasing, wars and rumors of wars increasing. Now the wars and rumors of wars are definitely increasing now more than ever. As I mentioned in my previous videos, been covering these stories and doing sit-down lessons in regards to the wars and rumors of wars of these news articles in reference to this, because you're going to see more increase of these nations doing military joint exercise drills, military war game type drills, military simulation war type drills. They're going to be training their ground troops from their allies. They're going to be training one another. So you're going to see a lot of things that's military. Missile launches, hypersonic missile launch tests, the long range, short range, ICBM missile launch tests, joint military exercise drills, firing their missiles from their cruise ships, their military cruise ships as well too, be part of the war type games as well too. So that's why you're seeing the increase of these things from the year 2021 all the way in now into 2022, because you see these things increasing, now more than ever. And I said I was going to bring out one scripture, Salaki. It was just through the Spirit to bring out another scripture. So this will be the third and final last scripture, Salaki, on that. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to verse 6. This is the book of Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. In verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. Right, like I mentioned before. I was going to repeat it again. You're going to have in the last days, you're going to have an increase of these nations rising against nations, like the islands dispute, a military dispute, an economic dispute, and many other issues. The nations clashing against one another, That's why you're seeing these different nations going against one another in many different categories that I just named, roughly paraphrase, and it's going to increase now more than ever in the last days. So with that, I hope this is edifying. Through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of the Yahweh Shai. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, to the elders, apostles, great wisdom, which word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, Christian word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, Christian word, truth, and sincerity. And until next time, I will say shalom and a baruch.